So in today's video, we're gonna take a look around the NFC East and talk about each and every team. But before we do that, given my platform, I would feel remiss if I did not mention anything about what happened. So today, the Baltimore Ravens fan right here beat up two Washington Commanders fans, and it had Twitter in a frenzy. You had some people saying this is not cool. You had other people saying why is the internet snitching, and other people trying to defend his actions. I'm just gonna let you guys see it and just watch for yourself. This is not cool at all. I know people try to sit up here and say the Commanders fans talk trash. That's not cool, bro. Like, man, time. I really don't want to say what I want to say because I am going to keep it professional, but he knows what he was doing. He knows what he's doing. That's all I'm going to say. He know who he was picking his battle with. He seen them, and he saw those were two guys that he could pretty much handle. They look like they were minding their business. Some people say they were trash talking. Even if they was trash talking, hey, your team's some trash, but y'all got lucky today. They don't give you no right to put your hands on them. And I guarantee you, if he was in Baltimore, right? He come to the city, bro. He come to PG County, certain parts, and do that, act like that, FedEx Field, you getting crushed, bro. Like, you're not. That's you knew what you were doing. You picked your battles with the right people in the right area. Because if you was on the other side of the Beltway, I'm pretty sure it would have got real messy for you. I don't really like people like that, man. Bullies and picking on people for no reason. He's that kind of guy, right? He seems like that kind of guy that likes to pick battles with little people to make himself feel better, right? He knows deep down inside he's a little, you know what I'm saying? But he wants to, because he's big, he's like 6'5", 6'6", he wants to pick on people that aren't his size to make him look dominant, bro. I really hate people like that, and it really grinds my gears when people are like that. Because it's no call for that, bro. You could have went on about your business. You could have talked trash back if they quote unquote did talk trash. You could have said so much other stuff, but you wanted to show out, probably intoxicated, but you wanted to show out in front of your friends and in front of your people. I never lose this. Yeah, okay. You ain't lose that battle because look who you were fighting, bro. You knew not to pick your battle with somebody else. And again, I'm not trying to get thrown off this platform, so I'm not gonna say what I want to say. But you knew who to pick your battles with. That's what I'm gonna leave it at. You knew who not to try, and it's just like that. Now, I know this is a sports page, but this really grinds my gears because one, it's Commanders fans. You messing with my fan base, and then two, just overall not cool. Now, what would happen if you swung on them and those guys were licensed to carry? What if those guys had weapons on them and they were trying to defend themselves? Now you end up dead because you wanted to show out in front of people and be cool and seem like you was just this tough guy. I don't care how big you are. You ain't too big to ever catch a bullet. No one is invincible. So you beating up those two guys. What if one of those guys would have pulled out a weapon, shot you right there? It's none your family could do. It's none you could do. That's pure self-defense. Now, I don't think I know Merlin doesn't have self-defense law, but it's clear as day. Like, it's on video, high def, so many people around. It's clear as day. So I hope those people are all right. If those people feel the need to press charges, do so. Last thing I do want to say, people saying the internet is snitching. Y'all doing, snitching jobs. Y'all doing a police job. Bruh, that only applies to people that live that life. Majority of y'all people that are trying to say that do not live that kind of lifestyle. A regular civilian, a regular person in American and life society that feels the need to tell every intricate detail of what situation that happened, it's nothing wrong with that. They're not snitches because they don't live that life. So stop trying to portray what y'all listen to into daily life like y'all live that life. Y'all do not live that life. All the people that's trying to defend his actions, trying to say, oh, don't say nothing. No, if those people, you weren't getting assaulted. If those people wanted to press charges, so be it. I already done seen that brother lost his job. He looked like he said something about he working for an insurance company or insurance policy. That's a good job. You done lost it because you want to show out. And I'm pretty sure he's feeling the brunt of it now. He's going to lose his job. and he's going to realize that 30 seconds of fame was not worth it. But on to the other part of the video, what we really came for. I wanted to take a trip around the NFC East, as we have the Washington Commanders. They are coming off of a game where they fought hard with the Ravens, but they came up short, and you have them still leading the NFC East by a game. Now, I do want to take a look at the rest of the division and look at each and every team's upcoming four, because I do still think the Washington Commanders are in the best position possible to maintain this lead and even stretch out their lead a little bit further. So obviously, I hope you guys can see it. You have the Washington Commanders at 4-2. Their next four, I didn't even have to click on it, but I'm going to. Their next four: Carolina, Chicago, Giants, Pittsburgh. The Washington Commanders have a very winnable next four. The hardest game there is the Chicago Bears, and that is going to be a really, really good game. The Washington Commanders could easily be in their next four games 8-2 or 7-3 in their next four. The Washington Commanders are going to be able to bounce back easily versus the Carolina Panthers. At least that's the preserving thought. Again, we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, because I do want to take this as a one-game approach, but you can't help but to look ahead at what Washington could be. I'm not saying what they will be, but what they could be if they could bounce back in a fashion like they did after they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They lost, they faced adversity week 1, came back, beat the Giants, right? That Giants game wasn't the cleanest. They came back, they came out on Monday Night Football, upset at the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Took that right into a belt whooping to the Arizona Cardinals, then came back and gave belt to the Browns. Then you go to Baltimore and you go down to the wire with the Ravens, and if a couple plays that you missed early on in the game, a couple defensive stops go your way, you probably win that game. So now I think Washington is going to be filming. They're going to be hot. They're going to be upset after the loss versus the Ravens. They're going to come out and beat the Carolina Panthers on Darryl Green's retirement day. Then you got the Chicago Bears. That is going to be a really good game. Again, this is another primetime kind of game. Given both teams, both Bears and Washington Commanders are 4-2 right now, and could potentially both be 6-2, or 5-2 after Sunday's action coming up. That is going to be a very, very good game between the number 1 pick Caleb Williams and the number 2 pick Jaden Daniels. Both are off to some really good starts into their career. Then the game right here. This is another challenging game. I don't want to necessarily say it's going to be easy, because it's not. It's a division game, and the Giants, we got lucky week 2. Let's call it what it is. Malik Neighbors catches the ball, we lose that game, but he didn't. So we got lucky, all right. But the Giants, they are not as bad as their record shows. They are 2-4, but offensively they are challenged. Defensively is where they thrive, and their defense, although we've seen it the first time, they held us to what? 21 points. That defense is really good, so it'll be a very, very strong task again. If we will be able to maybe have some better success, if it's gonna be a repeat of week 2, I really don't care how it looks, as long as we do win, because that is a division game, and that is an opportunity for Washington to get yet another division win under their belt. Then after that, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a team that Pittsburgh very good defensively, but if you can score over 20 plus points, I just say if you put, let's set the margin at 22-23. If you can score 22-23 points against the Steelers, bro, you won the game. Similar to how this Browns game kind of panned out. Really good defense, terrible offense. You score 20 plus, 21, 22 plus points, you win that game. Now, obviously, Justin Fields is a much better quarterback than Deshaun Watson at this point of his career. He can run. He can, make plays when need to be. But at the end of the day, Justin Fields is still Justin Fields, and I think this Washington Commanders team could take advantage of that. And, again, a very winnable next four. Not going to guarantee anything, but I do think Washington has an opportunity to be in good hands and could, again, be 8-2 going into that game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then now you go down to the second team in second place, the Philadelphia Eagles. They're sitting at 3-2. They are not that good right now. However, they did find a way to beat the Cleveland Browns. You look at the beating the Cleveland Browns by a score of 16-20. Then before their bye week, they beat the Saints 15-12. They are not that good at this current moment. The Eagles, it's just something off about that team. I don't know if it's really from the top, from Nick Sirianni. He barked at his own fan base yesterday, so that kind of tells you the kind of guy he is. Jalen Hurts, he had 2 touchdowns yesterday, but he's still not playing at a level that helps his team elevate them to the next level. Again, I don't know if I'm just getting spoiled by Jaden Daniels' play, but I would feel like after having a bye week and after getting my top two targets back, and we're at home, we're healthy, I would have felt like I would have been able to put up more than 20 points against the Cleveland Browns. Again, I know they have a really good defense, but we put up 34. So I definitely feel like the Eagles have a nice stretch coming up here, but they very well could be a fluky their record. Like, they're a team that gives me vibes that their record doesn't say how they really play. Like, they could very well be, look, they have the Giants coming up. That could be that could be a winnable game. Obviously the division game, Giants defense playing really good. Wouldn't be surprised if the Giants find a way to win, but they could win that game sitting at 4-2. Then they could beat the Cincinnati Bengals, which at this point I don't have them doing. I still have Cincinnati winning that game. But let's say they're 4-2 going into that game. They beat the Bengals 5-2, right? Then they go back home, play Jacksonville 6-2. Then you got the Cowboys, right? So they could be at best 6-2 heading into that Cowboys game, but I feel like their record would be deceiving because of how they are getting their wins. But I just don't see them beating the Cincinnati Bengals at this point. I do think they'll beat the Giants, so they'll be 4-2 after next week, and then they'll go into that Bengals game 4-3, 5-3 versus Jacksonville. And at this point, man, I do think they'll end up beating the Eagles. I mean, beating the Cowboys. The Cowboys just they're not good. They're in worse shape than the Eagles. So again, not hating on the Eagles, but I just don't think their record speaks to how poorly they really are at this current moment. Could they turn it around? Yeah, they can. They have the talent offensively and just overall team talent to turn things around, but can they do it? Will they do it? It's gonna be yet to it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be yet to find out. Then you go to third place. You have the Dallas Cowboys, who sitting at 3-3, and in my opinion are the worst team in this division at this current moment. You look at their last games. Obviously, they got blown out by the Detroit Lions. They barely beat the Steelers on a 4th and goal. It took down to a 4th and goal to beat them, scoring 20 points. They're just not good, man. They don't have the talent around them, and they paid Dak Prescott $60 million. You don't have nobody else around him besides CeeDee Lamb. Who else is going to step up? Turpin, is it gonna be Jalen Tolbert? Like, who is it gonna Rico Dowdle? Who's gonna step up and help out Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb? You don't have enough offensively. You're already down Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, and that defense putting up 47 points. How is that Mike Zimmer experience working out for you, Dallas? You talked all about how Dan Quinn this, Dan Quinn that, and Mike Zimmer this, Mike Zimmer that, and he hasn't been good there in Dallas. Overall, that operation is poor right now, and I don't really see them turning their season around. They just got blown out 47-9 versus the Lions. Then you got to face the 49ers, who you always struggle with on the road, and that could be 3-4. You could easily lose to the Atlanta Falcons, who are playing at some really good ball, 3-5. Then you got the Eagles game. I think the Eagles are gonna beat y'all, like I just said, so 3-6. And then you got the Texans, 3. Like, the Cowboys season could literally fall off the rails in the next 4. They're gonna have to get their act together. They're going to have to win these games and dang near go perfect. Not 4-0, 3-1 in this next 4, and that is highly unlikely at this current moment. At the state of this operation, I think Mike McCarthy is going to get fired at the end of this season. He's not a good head coach. He hasn't put together a good unit. It's just been Dak and whatever out there for the last couple of years. And obviously, Dak Prescott isn't worth $60 million. He's not as good as his payroll says. I honestly think at this current point, you might as well bench him for Cooper Rush. Is that going to happen? No, because you paid him $60 million, but Cooper Rush gives you a better chance to win than Dak Prescott at this moment. Dak Prescott is not good, man. Like, at least Dak Prescott has some showings at times, but it's consistently, can he do it? No. You don't have a running game to really support him, so you have to make him throw 40, 50 times a game, and obviously Dak Prescott is not a quarterback that at this point in his career that can do that at an efficient level without turning over the ball. So Dak Prescott in the Cowboys season could quickly be off the rails in the next 4. Again, the 49ers, you're at 49ers, then you're at the Falcons, so you got back-to-back road games, then you're finally back home against the Eagles team that is going to be looking to come into your building and win. And then you got a very good Houston Texans team. This is going to be another night game. It could get ugly for the Dallas Cowboys. And as a Washington Commanders fan, I love it. And then last but not least, you got the New York Giants, in my opinion, the second best team in this division at this current moment. Obviously, their record doesn't say so, but they could easily be about maybe 4-2 right now. They could be the Washington Commanders, honestly, because you look at their week 1 performance, right? They got blown out after by the Vikings. Then after that, week 2, they could have beat the Washington Commanders. If Malik Neighbors doesn't drop the pass, they win that game. Then they go on the road and beat the Cleveland Browns. They could have beat the Giants. They should have beat the Cowboys if Daniel Jones had any lick of consistent play in him. If he was any good, any talent that they wish he was after drafting him 6 overall in 2019. They win that game because he had an opportunity late to walk the Cowboys off, and the defense did their job, held them to 20 points, and they couldn't get anything going. They could have won that game. Then you go on the road to beat the Seahawks, and then you come back home versus the Bengals, and you lay an egg as you go 17-7. That game was 7-7 going into halftime, 7-10. The Giants' offense cannot master anything. Without Malik Neighbors, this team is not any good offensively. I think the Giants are in good hands with their coaching staff. I think Brian Dable should be the head coach of this team. I just think he needs to go ahead and draft his quarterback next year and pair Malik Neighbors up with some more offensive talent, whether that's via free agency or late round draft, guys, because you really haven't been able to get nothing out of Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt this season. So it's really Malik Neighbors, a running back, and now you gotta get a quarterback to next year. So you look at their next 4, though. They have the Eagles on the schedule at home. Again, that is a very winnable game. Although I have the Eagles winning that game, that is a very winnable game. I would not be surprised, given the fact that the Eagles have been struggling this season to put up points offensively. The Giants defense could definitely give Jalen Hurts some struggles, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if the Giants found a way to win that game. Then you got the Steelers again. This is going to be a defensive showdown on Monday Night Football. Yet another primetime for the Giants. This game could be like 3-3 going into the fourth quarter because both teams offensively suck, but both teams defensively are one of the best in the league. So that game is very winnable for the Giants. And then you have the Washington Commanders. This game at this point, in my opinion, the Washington Commanders are the real deal and are a team that's going to be a team to be working with in the NFC, and obviously a team to win the NFC East and in the playoffs. So I don't necessarily think that they are going to beat the Washington Commanders, but they could neutralize the offensive firepower that the Washington Commanders have, given the fact that they are a division rival and given the fact that their defense is really good. So they have a favorable 4, if you ask me. They very well could win this game. They could win versus the Steelers. They could win versus the Washington Commanders. Highly unlikely. But then you got the Carolina Panthers afterwards. Over there, I don't know if this is in London or Germany. I want to say London because it's 9:30 a.m. So in my opinion, the only game that you look at on their next 4, and that's pretty much a loss, is the Washington Commanders. And that's not me being biased. That's if you've been watching the NFL and the league, you see how good the Washington Commanders have been. So I think the Giants could easily go 3-4 in their next 4, and that's just realistically speaking, starting with versus the Eagles. And in my opinion, I believe that the Giants are the second best team in the NFC East at this current moment. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys thought about this video in the comment section down below. The Ravens fan, that I had to start the video with that, and that's probably gonna be the title of the video because he's a sucker, bro. He know who to pick his battles with and who not to pick his battles with. So hopefully, he gets handled accordingly. And then I also want to take a trip around the NFC East as week 6 wrapped up, and the Washington Commanders are still at the top of the division. And I still think that we are the team to beat, and we are the team that is going to win this division. But let me know what you guys thought about this video in the comment section down below. As always, it's me, your boy Juan Gotti. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I want to roll to 8,000 subscribers, so that we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Don't forget to check out my promo code SeatGeek Juan Gotti to get $20 off your first purchase. Have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy. Peace.